Please be seated, but just for a minute. Don't get too comfortable. Good afternoon. My name is Lita Burns. I'm the Vice President for Instruction at North Idaho College. And on behalf of North Idaho College faculty, administration, and the Board of Trustees, welcome to the December 2018 pinning ceremony of the Associate Degree Nursing Program. Remember I said don't get too comfortable? If you would all stand so that we can say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag and justice for all. Okay, go ahead and get comfortable. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce some distinguished guests in our audience. And I would like to thank them for being here with us this evening. If you would, hold your applause to the end. Let me introduce them all, and then we'll applaud for them at the end. I want to thank them. I don't see any of them in attendance, but I certainly want to thank our Board of Trustee members who are extremely supportive of not only the college, but of our nursing program. So in their absence, we will express our gratitude to them at the end. I'd like to introduce Dr. Rick McLennan, President of North Idaho College. Please stand. Ray L. Anderson, Director of Development and Foundation. She's the Executive Director. I don't see her. Dr. Larry Briggs, Dean of General Studies. Thank you. Now let's applaud. Thank you all for your support of the Associate's Degree Nursing Program. In addition to the amazing full-time nursing faculty that we have, and they will be introduced shortly, I would also like to introduce those individuals who are instrumental to the success and support of our students. If you are here, please stand, and again, we'll hold our applause to the end, but please stand and be recognized. Candy Zimmerman, Senior Administrative Assistant for the Nursing Division. Wendy McIntosh, Nursing Advisor. I understand Wendy's under the weather today. Miles Larson, Simulation Operations Specialist. Dr. Karen Ruppel, Division Chair of Health Professions and Nursing. And to our amazing adjunct faculty, our clinical instructors and our preceptors, who both faculty and students depend on, and who are a part of the quality of nursing students that we produce. If you're here, please stand. Let's thank them all. Now, hopefully, I didn't leave anybody out. If I did, please know that we appreciate all you do to contribute to the success of the North Idaho College nursing programs. I don't normally get to do this introduction, and I feel very honored that I was asked to represent the nursing faculty and do this introduction, but I have to warn them they might not ask me back, because I feel like I can take some privileges by them asking me to get up here first, and knowing that I have as much time as I want. Actually, no, I'll only take a couple of seconds. But I would like to take a moment to recognize a couple of special individuals with us tonight, and I'm a little bit touched by the fact that we will be saying goodbye to them as faculty this evening, because they will be entering into that wonderful world of retirement after this evening. And I didn't think the evening should go by without us acknowledging the tremendous service they have given to North Idaho College and to this nursing program. So first, Nancy Murin. So I had the good fortune of hiring Nancy in the fall of 2005. I would say that every realm of Nancy's work reflects the professional that she is. Her compassion as a nurse carried over to her role as an instructor. Nancy has contributed greatly as faculty member, and students and faculty benefited from her knowledge and experience. She will certainly be missed. I'll tell you that Nancy for a couple of years, left North Idaho College, shocking to us, but left North Idaho College, and I always think of it as her chance to engage in really hardcore professional development. And so she left for just a year or so from us and then returned. And then when she came back on fire to help improve our nursing program. So I want to extend a special thank you to her. And I have to give her a hug. And next, Marcia Becker. So I also got to hire Marcia, who started in 2009. I have often teased Marcia about how persistence pays. So I was introduced to Marcia through her business card. Her and her husband came up to North Idaho one summer, and she happened upon North Idaho College. I think she had looked us up actually before she came. And I was out of the office, and she left her business card on my desk saying, "Please call me." And so I did. And so in speaking with her, she shared with me that, it was her and her husband's goal to eventually move to North Idaho College, and that she certainly wanted to work for the college when she got to North Idaho and to Coeur d'Alene. And so she contacted me probably annually, or maybe more often than that, until she arrived. And and then she got here, and we were fortunate enough to have a position open at the time they arrived, and we hired her, and we have never looked back since. What has been very impressive about Marcia is her commitment to student success. She's always had a special place in her heart for doing things to help students succeed on an individual basis. I recall that she and a colleague started a special program to help students with their studying skills and with their test-taking skills. And I'm here to tell you that that program made a real difference for our students. So I would also like to extend my thanks to Marcia for all she's given to this program. So normally when I do speak at the Penny's ceremony, I'm given the opportunity to spend a little time talking to the students. I think I've been up here long enough, so what I'm going to say to you is going to be very brief because we've got other things to come. I always try to think of something that I might offer you that might be helpful to you in your career as a professional nurse. And don't want to say the same thing every single year, but sometimes it sounds like that. Thank goodness not all of you have been here every single year to hear me talk. So I was thinking about this, and the little bit of advice I would give you tonight would be, when you are practicing nursing and entering your profession, work real hard to focus on what's most important. We've all heard that saying that sometimes people miss the forest for the trees. I'm going to switch that up a bit. I would advise you to not miss caring for the people by your act of delivering care. So the role of the nurse is extremely busy. We get caught up in the meds we have to give, the treatments we have to provide, the charting that we have to do, the this and the that and all of that. Don't allow that to become the focus of your care. Make sure that the person in front of you always remains the focus of your care. You have the opportunity every single day to make whatever experience that person is having, no matter how critical, no matter how positive if you're in a wellness center, you have the opportunity to make it the best experience or the best day that person can have. So I'll leave you with, take advantage of that opportunity you have every single day and impact that day for that person. That's all I'm going to say to that. And now I have the privilege of introducing our president, Dr. Rick McLennan. He's going to come up and share a few words with you.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to see you all here. When I get in front of large groups of people and I talk about some of the work we do here at the college, I like to abbreviate our mission and say that we're in the business of creating hope and opportunity. I also like to say that we're equally in the business of creating success stories. And each one of you students graduating this semester represent your own important success story. And you've overcome a lot, some of you, to get here and do that. I've had the pleasure of talking with a few of you this semester to hear about some of the things that you've been going through and the challenges and the hard work. And I just want you to know that we are so very, very proud of you. So while you're departing North Idaho College to head out onto this next part of your journey, I want you to know, and I hope you will keep this in your heart, that you're always going to be a part of our North Idaho College family. So on behalf of all of us here at North Idaho College, the faculty, staff, the administration, and the Board of Trustees, congratulations and best wishes for a very successful career in all your pursuits. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Burns and Dr. McLennan. We appreciate your support of the nursing program. On behalf of the nursing faculty, I too would like to welcome you to the December 2018 pinning ceremony. Congratulations, graduates. I know it's been a long haul, but your hard work, your commitment has finally paid off. And think about how much you've learned in the past 2 years. One of the things that really strikes me about this class is they know how to have fun. You probably saw that when they were coming in. Now, don't panic. They're very serious when they need to be, so that's a good thing. But their playfulness has been most recently evident to me this morning when we were doing the rehearsal, and they came dressed in Christmas sweaters, Santa hats, and onesie pajamas. So don't lose that sense of playfulness. It will come in handy and it'll serve you well as a nurse when you face some really hard struggles with patients and families and you need to vent, and don't lose that playfulness. You'll need it. So it's good to see. Now, behind every nursing graduate is a group of nursing faculty. They're there to support, encourage, and push you to do your very best. They've taught you to critically think that in nursing, there's not just one right answer, but you have to decide on the best right answer. So I'm joined on the stage by this very experienced and committed group of individuals that truly care about student success, and I would like to take a moment to introduce them to you. First, Nancy Mirren. Nancy teaches in the second semester of the program. Because Nancy's retiring, I get to say a few words as well. Nancy's been a nursing instructor at NIC for over 13 years. And I just want to add, Dr. Burns, that you may have hired her, but I recruited her. Nancy's been the chair of our nursing program evaluation committee for the past several years. Her leadership with this committee was instrumental in gaining our accreditation. And one of the things I've always appreciated about Nancy is that she's smart. And she's really good at flying by the seat of her pants. And that's a helpful combination when you're a nursing instructor. Nancy's been always able to jump in and help out where needed, and she makes it fun with her sense of humor and her quick wit, which I'm sure all of the students have appreciated as well. Nancy, you've made a huge difference in this program and in numerous student lives, and you will be missed. We wish you the best in your retirement. Congratulations. Next is Marcia Becker in the first-year program. Marcia. And we will miss saying that. Marcia's been an instructor here over 9 years, and one of the things that I've always appreciated about Marcia is that when Marcia commits to something, you know that it will be done absolutely accurate. She will have every I dotted and every T crossed. And she has dotted a few of my I's and crossed a few of my T's a few times, and I've appreciated that. She's been the team lead for the beginning semester of the program for the last few years, and her professionalism and her commitment to detail were vital in transitioning to the new curriculum. And her quiet, gentle sense of humor has helped a lot too. Marcia, you've made a huge difference in this program as well and in numerous student lives, and we will miss you. We wish you the very best in your next phase in retirement. Congratulations. Okay, those were tough ones to get through. Our next faculty person is not retiring, and that's Jane Edwards. She teaches in the first semester and the second level of the program. Blythe Buchan is a teacher in the second and third semester. And Blythe also coordinates this pinning ceremony, so thank you. Thank you. Erin Holland. Erin teaches in the first level. Peggy Wasserman. Peggy teaches in the first year. Rachel Kalk. Rachel's a new instructor, teaches in the first year. Erlene Pickett. Erlene is a second-year instructor. Joy Altizer, also a second-year instructor. Sue Hill Crowley teaches in the first year. Kristen Perkins, also a first-year instructor. And Barb Downey could not be here with us this evening, but she sends her congratulations to you. So please join me in thanking this very dedicated group of individuals. Now, many of you may be wondering, what is a pinning ceremony? The pinning ceremony is actually a time-honored nursing tradition, and it signifies initiation into the nursing profession. This tradition dates back to the 1860s when Florence Nightingale presented a Medal of Excellence to her hardest-working nursing graduates. By 1916, it became a standard in the U.S. to award all graduates with a pin during a very special ceremony, such as we're having this evening. Now, each nursing school has a unique pin that visually represents their school. The NIC pin is up on the screen for you to look at. The Florence Nightingale lamp, which she carried when she was tending the wounded during the Crimean War, represents comfort, goodwill, warmth, and steadfast devotion to duty. The hands represent the specialized skills that you have learned and will practice throughout your nursing career. The book represents the scientific knowledge that you've gained in nursing school. And right now, it probably should be an app or an iPad. As lifelong learners, you'll continue to build on that knowledge throughout your career. So with this pin also comes a commitment and a responsibility to practice the skill and the art of nursing to the very best of your ability. So tonight is our opportunity to welcome you to the profession of nursing. We are honored and we're proud to have you join us as peers. Congratulations. Now, we all know that you didn't get to this point without a lot of support and a lot of encouragement. Your friends and family have been here to help you and rally you when you were exhausted and ready to give up. They've provided encouragement, meals, babysitting. So graduates, I'd like you to just take a minute, please rise, turn around, find your friends and family, and thank them for walking through this journey with you to becoming a nurse. So it's my privilege tonight to introduce our guest speaker. The guest speaker is chosen by the class, and it's based on someone that they respect and that has been a really positive influence in their path to becoming a nurse. This year, the class invited Nancy Mirren to be their guest speaker. I've already told you a little bit about Nancy, and she was introduced earlier, that she's a current faculty member for about 24 more hours, I guess. Yeah, she's not coming tomorrow. Nancy has been a nurse for 39 years this month. She's worked in a variety of nursing roles, including critical care as a facility manager at dialysis, which explains why she loves to teach fluid and electrolytes. And she taught at ATI and NCLEX review courses, and of course is a tenured nursing instructor here at North Idaho College. I personally had the privilege of meeting Nancy over 18 years ago when we were both taking classes to get our master's degrees at Gonzaga. And one of the very first classes we were in, the instructor had us all sitting in a circle, and it was an online course for the most part, but you had to show up on campus once or twice. So first time on campus, and we were in this circle, and the instructor had us all introduce ourselves and where we were from. And then she said, now you, even though this is an online class, you're going to be doing some group projects with another person. And Nancy and I kind of eyed each other from across, I don't know if you remember that, from across that room. And right after the class, we like beeline toward each other and we're like, okay, you want to work on a project together? And my life has never been the same since. Nancy's gotten me into a few predicaments, but fortunately she has gotten me out of a few predicaments as well. So I thank you for asking her to be your guest speaker tonight, because I owed her one, by the way. Nancy's been committed, she's creative, she's a knowledgeable instructor, colleague, and a friend. And the students obviously recognize that in choosing her as their guest speaker tonight. So please help me welcome Nancy Murin to the podium.
And I do have to say that the online class was really VHS, and they would send us our VHS tapes of the class, and we'd have our little VHS tape, and because we didn't have computers really back then, so we're dating ourselves. I think it's an honor, and I thank you guys for, oh wow, who's that? Woo! Hair for days, or hairspray. But I feel really honored to address you, and I think you're really brave because I can tell secrets. And you have your whole family and friends here, but I won't. I'll spare you that. So it's to mark your accomplishment in getting pinned and working really hard the last several years. And we have something in common tonight. We're both getting out of here alive. And with my peers behind me, we've worked really hard. You've worked very hard to get to where you are right now. We've worked very hard to get you to where you are right now. And as I said, we're both getting out alive. I'm excited for our next phase of life. Yours is a little bit different than mine. As you begin your career, I am wrapping up mine. But I do have to say that once a nurse, always a nurse. I'll always get the phone call from a family member. I'll always be there if somebody passes out at the grocery store. Once you're a nurse, always a nurse. So as I deep cleaned my office this week, I reminisced about the last 13 years in education and what it's done for me as a person. I wiped off the dust from the top shelves. It's amazing what's up there. I have an advantage of being short, so I don't see what's up there unless I stand up on a chair. Collected over the years because I was too busy to dust shelves, much like you were probably too busy throughout school to dust your shelves and clean things out. I cleared out years of papers that held notes and plans and valuable information. I wiped off coffee drips from my desk, which reminded me of the countless hours I spent and the many lunches and breakfasts I ate at my desk because I was working on deadlines and meeting with students. They were sacrifices, sitting there and sacrificing not going to lunch, but were worth the huge rewards of teaching you all. It was a great walk down memory lane, as you all are a culmination of the faculty and their teaching. I am a culmination of the students who have come into my life during my tenure here. So as I tossed and turned over the past week thinking about what would be the most important thing to tell you, and believe me, I tossed and turned on this. I have no problem getting up and lecture, but it's like, what was I going to say to you all tonight? It wasn't going to be fluid and electrolytes. It wasn't going to be renal related, and darn it, because I could go on for days about those topics. I stumbled over my thoughts and words, fretted and worried I wouldn't say the right thing. What would you remember other than it's time to get pinned and go party, which is exactly what we're thinking of doing as well. Then I recalled that over the years in lectures I told stories. Stories of ill patients with specific diagnoses related to lecture, stories of nurses and how they responded to a situation, whether good or bad. These stories, I hoped, would help you retain and recall the essentials of caring for a similar patient in your career. So here you go, another story. This story has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and as an end that is a glorious wrap-up to a career well spent. So this story is about a nurse. So 39 years ago, let's say it's tonight, but it actually was 39 years ago, December 1979. This nurse was a young 20-something. I used to tell you I was 12 when I started nursing school, but I don't think I can get away with that anymore. A young 20-something walking across an auditorium stage, dressed in a starched white uniform, shiny white nylons, gleaming white shoes, Farrah Fawcett hair with a crisp white cap on top of her head. It wasn't the uniform, the sparkly gold pin on her collar, or the cap that made her a nurse, even though she thought that's what made her a nurse at the time. It was the newly acquired knowledge packed inside her brain, coupled with the desire to help someone in their time of need. So in the beginning, a nurse walks into a hospital. No, not a bar, and this isn't that type of story. So a nurse walks into a hospital, much like a bride walking into a new marriage as a married woman, full of excitement, anticipation, wonder, and awe of how far she had come and where she had to go. Wowed by the overhead exam lights, the cardiac monitors, the IV tubings and drips, the codes, the births, the new life, the fading life. What could be better than to experience this exciting career? This beginning can be considered the honeymoon phase, with eyes wide open to anything that comes your way. Code blues, code grays, code reds, code silvers, and even those notorious code browns. She held inside the feeling of nothing could go wrong, but of course it did. Everything in the world was right. She had her white cape, which was really a white sweater, cap and shoes on, and could conquer anything that came her way. She was a super nurse. As the decades flew by, the super nurse survived years of ICU rotations, emergency room shifts, initiating dialysis treatments, saving lives, and fighting bad guys, also known as diseases. So what did this nurse learn through the beginning journey? The first thing she learned was make your bed. This is a saying that I saw in a speech by a Navy SEAL that did a commencement, and the first thing he said was make your bed. And I said, I've always wanted to tell somebody that in a commencement speech, so make your bed. Make the bed. I took this from, as I said, from Admiral McRaven's commencement speech in 2014. I loved it when I heard it, and it was so applicable to now. It's important, it's so important. This nurse learned to make the bed. She learned to make beds using hospital corners, not the stretchy ones, with beds with patients in them, soiled beds, stinky beds, unkept beds, plain old dirty beds, wet beds, and dry beds. She changed beds with help, changed beds alone, changed beds in a hurry, and changed beds slow. That almost sounds like something from Dr. Seuss. A simple action can make a difference in a day for your patients and for you. So I'm telling you, as well as keep perfecting the art of making the bed. Start making your own. So no matter what shift you work, day or night, making your bed the first part of the day will give you a sense of accomplishing something at the start of the day. Be proud of those smooth sheets and arranged pillows. Marion and I can relate to this. They will make you feel good when you crawl into that bed at the end of a difficult shift, after a patient has passed or the shift was unbearably busy, or even if you made a mistake. Crawling into something that is smooth and unwrinkled will help soothe the burdens of the day, so make your bed. The second thing she learned in the beginning, it's okay to cry when you're hurt and fall. You fall down as a nurse, a lot, so be prepared. It's important to cry, but it is also just as important to wash your face and pick yourself up when you're done, because you don't belong down there. Release those hurts and disappointments. Get up and buck up, Buttercup. It doesn't get any easier with tears on your face. The next thing is you don't have to walk alone through this journey. So when as a super nurse walks into that first exciting job, look for the helpers. If you remember watching Mr. Rogers, he always said, look for the helpers. He was scared when he saw something in the news as a child, and his mom said, just always look for the helpers. So I'm going to tell you that you're going to be scared walking into that new job. You're going to not know how you're going to survive, but the first thing you need to do is look for the helpers. I recommend that you look for that one with the smile on their face, approachable demeanor, a hand to extend, people who smile with their eyes, not just with their mouth. You know those, the genuine smile. Find your helper, your mentor, to guide you through this new exciting journey. One day you will become that helper. The last thing that I've learned, that she learned in the beginning, was reserve "I'm sorry" for when you truly are. Not when you bump the bed or startle the patient or drop something on the floor, or when you have to interrupt a conversation to ask an important question. Saying "I'm sorry" repeatedly dilutes the true message. Say you're sorry to the family that just lost their loved one, the mom who just gave birth to a stillborn babe, the young father who received a cancer diagnosis. Save it for when it is really needed. It will feel more genuine on your end and theirs. So on to the middle of the journey. Not as exciting, but just as important to the story. This nurse got rid of her cape and sprouted wings. She flew and flew and flew through an exciting career and then perched in the land of going back to school. As an associate degree nurse, she realized the need to seek out more knowledge, to do big things, to make a difference. She made plans, identified goals, and started working on a BSN. Though this degree took 11 years to achieve, she made it. She never gave up. Getting married, having children, moving out of state, step by step, that elusive BSN arrived in 1999. What an achievement. What a heck of a lot of picking off classes one by one. You've got to be kidding me, 11 years? It took 11 years. Really, yes, really. Remember, we had no internet. The only computer was a DOS version to type papers. This nurse sat in brick and mortar classrooms driving 2 hours away to get to a class. Research was done in a library, not on a cell phone. Sounds like your parents' story about how hard their childhood was as they walked uphill both ways to school. Wow, this nurse felt invincible. Now that felt like a big deal. She passed the GRE and entered the hallowed halls of Gonzaga University, being the first one in her family to go to graduate school. So in 2004, the MSN arrived. She learned a lot more during those middle years. She learned that wishing on stars was important, and then she set to work making those wishes happen. Dream those dreams, make those plans, take those steps. One foot in front of the other, reach for those stars, no matter how many light years away they appear. Never give up. Even when you think you can't read one more page, you can't type one more paper, pass one more exam, keep moving forward. The feeling of accomplishment is like no other. You all are sitting here, sitting there feeling very accomplished tonight because you never gave up. You are invincible, and you still are. Another thing is practice your passions. What floats your boat? What's excite you in life, in your career? Well, go do that. Go hop on that bike. Go put on your boots, take a hike. Lift that barbell. You are never too old to practice your passions. Take care of yourself. Take care of your health. Do it now while you are healthy and practice that safe care. You are going to need that during those busy years of schooling, working, raising families, and if you don't care for yourself during the journey, the ending chapters won't be pretty. So now we reach the end of the story. After graduate school, this nurse entered the field of education. Right here at NIC, yours truly started her teaching career 13 years ago. Education wasn't on her radar until one special friend, Marion, invited her along for the ride. So a nurse walks into Meyer Health Science Building. No, not a bar. What happened during those 13 years was a transformation. Transforming into a nurse educator and mentor, this nurse crossed paths with hundreds of students. She taught them about nursing, the good, the bad, and the ugly. She tested them, she molded them in clinical, but in the end she realized one thing that stood out. What they taught her along the way was profound. The principles of hard work, sacrifices, determination, along with their feelings of disappointment and sometimes failure. This is life. The road is not always easy. The takeaways from these last years have been great, and here are just a few. The sandwich technique. No, not ham or egg or chicken. The sandwich technique helps to deliver information that's not so good. It's sandwiched between the two positives. This was a great way to preserve self-esteem and self-worth. Not mine, theirs. Be gentle when delivering bad news. Perfect those facial expressions. A scorn, a scowl, a frown can have such an impact on those who see it. Your patients are watching. Rolling of eyes can have an impact on instructors as well. Put on that smile, wear that poker face. Ask for what you want. The worst that can happen is somebody will say no. And in the end, if you forget to ask permission, beg forgiveness. Right, Marion? Okay. This one is for Marion. Sorry, not sorry. And the very last one on the list as I wrap up the speech, lastly, be kind. Kindness can never, ever be replaced. It wipes years off your face, makes you and the other person feel good, erases wrinkles, improves memory, enlarges your heart, warms your hands. Be kind always in all the situations. Be kind. Those around you will appreciate the kindness, and as a nurse, this is one attribute that will contribute to patient healing. So I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for teaching me so much during my tenure here at NIC. Many people ask what I will do with my retired time. I chuckle and think of the list of what the list that I'm not going to do is a heck of a lot shorter than what I am going to accomplish. I will hop on that bike, put on my boots, and take a hike. I will lift that barbell and do those burpees, not just because I can, but because I want to. I will cherish all of the great memories and make history. You know the old saying, well-behaved women rarely make history. Well, I plan on making history during the last journey of my life. I'm going to go out and tackle all of the things and all of the stuff, and I thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Nancy. We're so proud to have you, or have had you as a nursing instructor. You've impacted so many student lives. And you're truly an example of embracing the skill and the art of nursing. Now, our students are really amazing. I mean, really. And I probably don't need to tell you that because you are all their friends and family. Many of them are trying to complete their degrees while they're raising a family, working a job, caring for a loved one. Many students have been through some tough times while they've been in school. They've lost a loved one, maybe been through a divorce, and they still persevered, and you're sitting here tonight, and I'm amazed by that. We would like to take the time, though, to honor a few of them that have gone above and beyond what is expected. I would like to invite Jane Edwards to the podium to present the Academic Achievement Award.
The Academic Achievement Award is presented to the student who has the highest cumulative grade point average in the graduating class. The grade point average is based upon all the courses needed for the ADN degree, which includes the core nursing classes. This recipient is recognized at pinning. Their name is engraved on a large plaque, which is permanently displayed in the Health and Science Building. The student who will receive the award tonight has an outstanding grade point average. The student with the highest GPA for this graduating class of December 2018 is Kenzie Hara. Hara.
Each semester, a member of the graduating class is selected for the honor of Spirit of Nursing Award. This recipient is recognized at pinning and their names engraved on a large plaque which is permanently displayed in the Health Science Building. The nominees were selected by the graduating class and by the NIC faculty for excellence in the aspects of respect, integrity, professionalism, caring, compassion, and cultural competence, which was evident in all personal and professional behaviors and interactions. The nominees showed a dedication, excellence, and a passion for the profession of nursing. After much deliberation and consideration by the graduating class and by the faculty, the list was narrowed down to one student. The following comments have been made about the candidate chosen this semester. This student has a passion for people, whether it is for their fellow nurse or patients or families. The student is always kind to peers and faculty. The student has been patient-centered from the very beginning. This individual is always smiling and would help fellow students, often putting their own needs above the students' needs above their own needs. This student has assisted and led many study groups. The student provided valuable feedback to the faculty from a student perspective. This individual participated in many community service events throughout the student's time here at NIC, completing more than 62.5 hours over the last 2 years of community service, and that's just what was logged. All interactions with this individual had with faculty, the students, and the public were warm and personable. This person has been a valuable help the last few semesters to assist in the pinning ceremony and many other nursing program activities. The student has continually demonstrated professionalism that is often laced with humor. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce the Fall 2018 Spirit of Nursing Award to Kellen Wolf.
Each semester, a member of the graduating class is selected for the honor of the Leadership Award. The recipient of this award is recognized at pinning, and their name is engraved on a large plaque, which is permanently displayed in the Health and Science Building. The nominated students have exemplified outstanding service and leadership to their fellow students and to the community. They have shown a commitment to excellence and a willingness to inspire others. With much thought and consideration, one student was selected by the faculty. The student chosen for this semester was easy to work with and very personable in all interactions. It is believed that this student will make a difference in whatever organization they choose to be a part of. This student's preceptor remarked that they were hardworking and showed a dedication to their patients, families, and staff. The student showed a dedication to excellence, integrity, critical thinking, and a thorough understanding of nursing knowledge and professionalism. The student served on curriculum committee as a student representative and gave thoughtful input and suggestions in all matters discussed, as well as served on poetry club and on campus, and the club's leader remarked that they were a standout as far as participation and that they could be counted upon to promote the club activities with enthusiasm. I am proud to present the Fall 2018 Leadership Award to Danny Combs.
Congratulations. Well, now is the moment that you've all been waiting for, the presentation of the pins and the roses. I would like to invite faculty members Peggy Wasserman, Marcia Becker, and Nancy Murren to assist with the presentation of the pins and roses.
Jana Clifton. Danielle Combs. Kiera Demers. Erin Elizabeth Fairbanks. Monica Gilliland. Kenzie Hara. Leticia Hernandez Ahern. Rose Kunkel. Annie Laker. Tiffany Manhart. Sean Patrick McCoy. Brianna Melandreris. Elizabeth Middlemore. Mary Nordhausen. Kayleen Ortiz. Laura Parker. Adriana Ponce. Molly Preston. Mary Roth. Rebecca Smythe. Raina Solberg. Jackie Trudeau. Darby Vanneman. Kelland Wolf.
Well, let's all just give one last round of applause to all of our graduates. Now I would like to invite Rachel Kalk to the podium to head us in the Florence Nightingale Pledge.
Would all nurses please stand and join me in saying the Nightingale Pledge? It is located on the back inside flap of your programs. I pledge myself here before my God and in the presence of this assembly to practice my profession with integrity. I will endeavor to maintain and elevate the standard of nursing both as a science and as an art. I wholeheartedly recognize the importance of high standards of care and of personal accountability. I devote myself to the healing, protection, and welfare of those committed to my care. I accept a duty to work for the improvement of health in the communities in which I live and work. I will hold in confidence all personal matters committed to my keeping and will respect the privacy of medical information. I will act with compassion in ethical matters. I will not knowingly administer or consume any harmful substance. I commit to interdisciplinary collaboration and lifelong learning. I fully acknowledge the seriousness of the responsibility that I accept in my calling and the significance of this pledge that I take today.
Graduates, please join me on the stage. As the graduates are coming on stage, I would like to take a moment just to thank all of you for coming and helping us celebrate and share in this very special ceremony this evening. After the ceremony, we ask that the audience please wait until the faculty and the students exit the stage. And then if you would please exit and go down the left way to the hall and the foyer there so it kind of prevents a bottleneck right outside the hallway. You could meet your graduates down there. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Associate Degree Nursing class of December 2018. Congratulations.
Run and tell all of the angels, this could take all night. Think I need a devil to help me get things right. Hook me up a new revolution, 'cause this one